It is verse 14, chapter 1, verse 14, through chapter 2, verse 6. All right. Verse 14, Torah. If one's, and this is the book of Leviticus, portion of Vayikra, the first one. If one's offering to Hashem is an olah offering of fowl, he shall bring his offering from turtle doves or from young doves. Verse 14, if of fowl, deficient bird. The Torah states that if one brings an olah offering from cattle, sheep, or goats, it must be male and unblemished. With regard to a bird olah, there is no such requirement. However, our pasuk begins, if one's offering to Hashem is an olah offering from fowl. The word from indicates that some birds are acceptable, but not all. This teaches that although a blemished bird is acceptable, if it is missing an entire limb or organ, such as a leg or an eye, it is disqualified. He shall bring this offering from turtle doves. He shall bring his offering from turtle doves or from young doves. Minimum donation. Our pasuk describes a bird olah, burnt offering, as coming from turtle doves or from young doves. The plural form of the words turtle doves and young doves seems to indicate that if someone donates a bird offering, he must bring at least 2 birds. The Torah therefore states in the next pasuk, the Kohen shall bring it to the Mizbeach, in the singular, to teach that one may donate even a single bird, young or old. In our pasuk and throughout the Torah, whenever bird offerings are discussed, the Torah mentions turtle doves and young doves, stating that the doves must be young. But it does not say that about turtle doves. This teaches that one may use only young doves, and one may use only mature turtle doves. Our pasuk says, from turtle doves or from young doves, to indicate that only some young doves and some mature turtle doves may be used, but not all. When the feathers around the neck begin to turn yellow, a dove is not fully mature, but it is still too old to be considered a young dove. And a turtle dove is no longer young, but it is not yet mature enough to be considered a mature turtle dove. At this stage, both types of birds are disqualified. All right, verse 15, Torah. The Kohen shall bring it to the Mizbeach, nip its head, and cause it to go up in smoke on the Mizbeach. Having pressed out its blood on the Mizbeach's wall. Where did I leave off? Here we go. The Kohen shall bring it to the Mizbeach. Kohen required. Bird offerings are not slaughtered with a knife as are animal offerings, but are pierced through the back of their necks with the right thumbnail of the Kohen. This type of bird slaughter is known as melika. With regard to the melika of a bird olah burnt offering, our pasuk says, the Kohen shall bring it to the Mizbeach and nip its head. If not for our pasuk, a kal vachomer logical argument could have been made to allow even a non-Kohen to perform melika. An animal olah must be slaughtered on the north side of the Mizbeach, but even a non-Kohen is qualified to perform the shechita. Accordingly, melika, which is less stringent in that it need not be done on the north side, surely may be performed by a non-Kohen. Our pasuk therefore clarifies that only a Kohen may perform melika. The olah's unique melika. Burnt offerings are slaughtered with malika, which means piercing through the back of their necks with the right thumbnail of the Kohen. The violation of certain prohibitions requires a person to bring a korban ole veyored, a variable sin offering, in which the type of offering varies according to how much the sinner can afford. If he can afford it, he brings a lamb or a kid goat. If he is poor, he brings 2 birds, one of which is offered as a chata, sin offering, and the other as an olah, burnt offering. If he is destitute, he brings a mincha, meal offering, consisting of 1/10 of ephah of fine flour. With regard to the malika of a bird olah, our pasuk says the Kohen shall bring it to the mitzbech and nip its head. Since the Torah says bring it instead of simply saying bring, this teaches that the malika of an olah, it is different from the malika of a chatas, a sin offering. Regarding the malika of a bird chatas, the Torah says he shall nip its head at its nape, but not separate it. That is, he should cut either the esophagus, food pipe, or the trachea, wind pipe, but not both. From our pasuk, we learn that in the case of the olah, the burnt offering, both pipes are cut. Therefore, according to one opinion, when the Torah says that the second bird is brought as part of a variable sin offering, and the second bird he shall make as an olah according to the law, it cannot mean that the olah should be slaughtered like the chatas, since the procedure for a bird olah is not like that of a bird chatas. That pasuk means according to the law of an animal chatas. This means that 3 laws of an animal chatas apply to a bird olah as well. An animal chatas may not be purchased from consecrated money, such as coins that were used to redeem maser sheni. The offering must be offered by day, and the Kohen must perform the avodah, the service, with his right hand. These laws also apply to a bird olah. However, according to one opinion, a different part of our pasuk teaches that there is a difference between the malika of a bird olah and the shchita of an animal chatas. Our pasuk says that the Kohen shall nip its head and cause it to go up in smoke on the mizbeach, and press out its blood on the mizbeach's wall. The Torah mentions burning the offering on the mizbeach right after malika, even though the blood must obviously be pressed out of the bird before it is burned. This teaches that the malika is compared to the burning, just as the head of the bird is burned separately from its body. So too, the malika must completely separate the head from the body. That is, unlike shchita of the animal chatas, which only requires that most of the 2 pipes be cut, malika of the olah bird requires that both of the pipes be completely cut. However, according to the opinion that we know that both pipes of the olah bird must be cut from the comparison between malika and burning, why does the Torah have to write to bring it? If not for the word here, we would have thought that the bird olah is just like a bird chatas, in that only one pipe is cut, and we would have learned a different lesson from the comparison between malika and burning, namely that just as the offering is burnt on top of the mizbeach, so too malika should be performed atop of the mizbeach. Therefore, the Torah informs us that the olah is not like the chatas, and the comparison to burning tells us that only the difference is that both pipes of the olah are completely cut. Nip its head and cause it to go up in smoke on the mizbeach. Malika laws. Bird offerings are not slaughtered with a knife as animal offerings are. The bird is pierced through the back of the neck with the right thumbnail of the Kohen. This type of bird slaughter is known as malika. Regarding the bird olah burnt offering, our pasuk says that the Kohen shall nip its head. That is, he shall perform malika and cause it to go up in smoke on the mizbeach and press out its blood on the mizbeach's wall. The Torah mentions burning the offering on the mizbeach right after the malika, even though the blood must obviously be pressed out of the bird before it is burned. This teaches that malika is to be compared to the law of burning. Just as the offering is burned on top of the Mizbeach, so too the Malika is performed on top of the Mizbeach. That is, while the Kohen is standing on the Sovev, the ledge, which was on the upper half of the Mizbeach in the Beis Hamikdash. Malika of an Olah is done through the back of the bird's neck. We learn this from a Gezerah Shava, I believe a logical argument, regarding Malika of a bird chata, sin offering. The Torah clearly says, he shall nip its head at its nape, but not separate it. And the word nip is used in our pasuk regarding the olah, the burnt offering as well. Just as Malika of the chatas is done at the nape, so too is Malika of the olah. This Gezerah Shava, however, is limited to the place on the bird where the Malika is done. The Malika of both chatas and olah are done at the nape. But while the Malika of the bird chatas must sever either the salfkis, food pipe, or the trachea, windpipe, but not both, Malika of the bird olah requires severing both of them. We learn this from the Pesukim describing each of these offerings. When discussing the bird chatas, the Torah writes, he shall nip its head at its nape, but not separate it. When it comes to the bird olah, on the other hand, we saw earlier that our pasuk compares Malika of an olah to its burning. Regarding its burning, in addition to our pasuk, which is discussing the bird's head, nip its head, when the Torah discusses the body, he shall split it with its feathers. It again says, the Kohen shall cause it to go up in smoke on the Mizbeach. This teaches that the head of the bird is burned separately from its body. The comparison of the Malika to the burning tells us that the head must be completely separated from the body. Not everyone. Bird offerings are not slaughtered with a knife as are animal offerings, but are pierced through the back of their necks with the right thumbnail of the Kohen. This type of bird slaughter is known as Malika. In discussing the bird olah, our pasuk says that the Kohen shall nip its head. That is, he shall perform Malika and cause it to go up in smoke on the Mizbeach, the altar. The Torah mentions Malika together with burning the offering on the Mizbeach, so that we apply the laws of one to the other. Regarding the burning, we are told the sons of Aaron shall cause it to go up in smoke, teaching that only male Kohanim may burn the offering by connecting the Malika to the burning. Our pasuk teaches that the Malika, too, must be done by male. Having pressed out its blood on the Mizbeach's wall. Up against the wall. Bird offerings are not slaughtered with a knife as are animal offerings, but are pierced through the back of their necks with the right thumbnail of the Kohen. This type of bird slaughter is known as Malika. In discussing the bird olah, our pasuk says that the Kohen shall nip its head. He shall perform Malika and cause it to go up in smoke on the Mizbeach, the altar, and press out its blood on the Mizbeach's wall. The Torah does not say from its blood, but its blood, which indicates that all of its blood should be pressed out. The phrase on the Mizbeach's wall indicates that the blood is to be applied directly to the wall of the Mizbeach itself, not on the blood of the ramp or anything else, or anywhere else. Although the blood must be applied after the Malika Although the blood must be applied after the Malika and before the bird is offered on the Mizbeach, the pasuk first mentions burning on the Mizbeach, and only then that the blood is to be pressed out. This teaches us that just as the offering is burned on the top of the Mizbeach, so too the blood must be pressed out on the upper half of the Mizbeach's wall. Verse 16, he shall remove its crop with its feathers, and he shall throw it near the Mizbeach toward the east, to the place of the ashes. He shall remove its crop with its feathers and all. Our pasuk says that the Kohen removes the crop of the bird olah, burnt offerings, with its feathers, meaning that he does not insert a knife under the skin and remove only the crop. Rather, he cuts a hole through the feathers and skin in the area that is over the crop, and takes them all together, skin, feathers, and crop. And he shall throw it near the Mizbeach toward the east, to the place of the ashes. Our pasuk says that after the Kohen removes the crop of a bird, olah, burnt offering, he shall throw it near the Mizbeach toward the east, that is, on the east side of the ramp, to the place of the ashes. Elsewhere, the Torah instructs the Kohanim to remove a shovelful of ashes from the outer Mizbeach early each morning and place it near the Mizbeach. This service is known as the Terumas Hadeshen, since the phrase near the Mizbeach is used in both Pesukim. A Gezerah Shava logical argument teaches that the Terumas Hadeshen is also placed on the east side of the ramp. But why does our pasuk add the phrase to the place of the ashes? We already know through the Gezerah Shava that the ashes of the outer Mizbeach are placed in that location. This teaches that the ashes from the inner Mizbeach are also placed in the same ash pile. Additionally, the Torah could have written to the place of the ashes without definitive hey. Instead, it wrote to the place of the ashes. The extra letter teaches that the ashes cleared the menorah are placed there as well. All right, I'm going to stop here right just before verse 17, and I will continue at a different time. All right. Boker Tov.